नमामि नारायण पादपङ्कजं करोमि नारायण पूजनं सदा वदामि नारायण नाम निर्मलं स्मरामि नारायण तत्त्वमव्ययम्. Please excuse us for this delay. I am doing this class 219th in this series on the Gita from a village near the town of Kudal in Maharashtra, and we had to sort out some internet issues. Please bear with us, and with that we continue now. And as all of you know very well, we had stopped in this chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, after the 21st verse. Rather, 20th verse we saw in great detail. 21st verse also we saw the meanings. Let me read 20 and 21 both for you to quickly review and get a sense of where we were when we got into the Gita class last time, last Wednesday morning in India or Tuesday evening in the West. The most wonderful verse from the entire Bhagavad Gita, in a manner of saying, of the 20th verse of the 10th chapter, Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarvabhutashayastitaha Ahamadischa Madhyancha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. With a lot of significance, multiple meanings emanating from this shloka. No wonder Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi selected this 20th verse of the 10th chapter as the one verse from the entire Bhagavad Gita, which might be, or which could be, which is recommended to be studied, thought over, meditated upon again and again. In no uncertain terms, Bhagavan Sri Krishna declares here, I am the very self, Aham Atma, Sarva Bhutashaya Stitaha, in the heart of all living beings. With such a verse kept in mind, we will never have any reason to cry, to feel low. When God is right in our bosom, what on the earth can make us sad? Even if there are hard times, it is part of some plan by Him. Through those hard times, He is lifting us, He is chiseling us, He is shaping us. God is taking us upward in our great evolution. Therefore, this shloka, even from a bhakti point of view, is simply fascinating. O Arjuna, O one who has conquered sleep, I reside in the heart of everyone. I am their beginning, I am their middle, I am their end too. Adischa madhyancha bhutana anta evacha, and so on. After that, we moved on to the next verse, which is 21st, and starting with this 21st verse, Bhagavan Sri Krishna describes his glorious manifestations in the entire creation in great detail. In a sense, it is in great detail, but in another sense, it is very briefly, because to put it all in great detail, no number of shlokas will be enough. He himself says, Nasti antaha vistarasya me. There is no end to the detailed narration of my glories. So we saw 21st also, Adityanam aham Vishnuhu. Out of the 12 Adityas, certain celestial beings mentioned in Puranas, Itihasas, and so on, I am that Aditya who has the name Vishnu. This is not one of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, but of the 12 Adityas, a certain Aditya called Vishnu. Jyotisham, of luminous sources, of sources of light in this entire creation. I am Ravi, I am the sun who is full of rays. For us, human beings on the earth, Ravi, the sun, is of greatest value. It is said that even those who want good health should be in the sun for some time every day. There is even a saying, Aditya Icchet Arogyam. We must desire good health from the sun. Nowadays, with the advent and advancement of computers, alas, more people see the sun on their laptop screen or mobile screen than out in the sky. It is unfortunate that our life is becoming more and more unnatural. Therefore, experts on health advise us go back to nature, live on the lap of nature, do not lose touch with nature, and of all wonderful expressions of nature, the sun is on top. Jyotisham aham ravihi, marichir marutamasmi. Tippanakaras say there are 49 marichis. Again, certain celestial beings, and they are of divine origin too. And it is said that the marichis are children of Diti, not Aditi. Diti has 49 Marut Devatas. And interestingly, drawing from several sources, the Tippanakaras point out, they find that the word Marichi is not among the 49 Marut. So you have a problem apparently, but there is no problem. You take Marichi as not one of those 49, but as the Kanti. Marichi means the Kanti, the radiance that is seen in the 49 Maruts. Marichir Marutamasmi, Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. We have seen this, but to quickly remind you, this also has two meanings. And in exploring the two meanings of this expression, I am the moon among the nakshatras. A certain grammar also comes out. There is called Sambandhi Shashti, and there is also another kind of Shashti. Let me tell you what it is called. One is Sambandha Shashti, and another is Nirdharana Shashti. That is, Shashti is a vibhakti. If you want to say Rama's house, the word Rama has to go to Shashti. Ramasya Graham. And plural is Ramanam and so on. What is Nirdharana Shashti? What is Sambandha Shashti? Very simple. Grammar should not scare us. Nirdharana is sometimes this vibhakti sixth case is used to say among the, let us say, some hundred candidates. Nirdharana is one of those 100 is picked up. In fact, that is the case in a whole lot of vibhaktis. So not vibhaktis, whole lot of glories, vibhutis. The vibhuti is being mentioned here. Or let me construct one for simplicity. If you say of the four sons of Dasharatha, the eldest is Rama. Chaturnam putranam Dasharatasya garishtaha Ramaha. So you used Putrana. So of the four sons, Rama is the eldest. Now Rama is one of the four. One of the four is picked up. That is called Nirdharana Shashti. But interestingly, the first meaning they apply to Nakshatrana Maham Shashi is not a case of Nirdharana Shashti, it is Sambandha Shashti. What is the Sambandha Shashti? The 27 daughters of Daksha became the stars. Daksha Kanyaha, 27 of them. And if it is said, Nakshatranam Shashi, no, he is not one of those 27 daughters. The moon is not one of the daughters. These 27 were married to the moon. And about the moon and his 27 wives, there are many stories. Especially well known or notorious is how he was especially attached to a particular wife of his, Rohini. And the other 26 were so angry, they go and complain to their father. You got all of us married to this moon, Chandra, and he is partial to Rohini. And then some curse, I think that waxing and waning. Don't be always in full glory. Your glory will reduce and will again increase. That sort of curse was given by Daksha for moon to be partial to one of the 27 wives. But coming back, moon is thus not one of the 27 nakshatras, but he is the nakshatra adipati. He is the husband of those 27. So either way. And then you have, uh, how do you apply this Nirdharana Shashti for Chandra, Nakshatrana Maham Shashi? Then the word Nakshatra doesn't mean the 27 wives. Whole lot of countless luminous beings in the sky. That's the meaning of Nakshatra. And both according to modern science and as per the olden days wisdom, of the luminous beings, there are many other much greater than the moon. But from a certain angle of view, the moon looks so big in the sky, number one, and he goes around in 27 or 28 days. So, from our angle of view, the moon's movement is much faster than any other luminous being in the sky. Therefore, this is Nirdharana Shashti. Among the countless luminous beings, one among them is the moon. Why do we pick up the moon? So, because for us, he looks the biggest, most charming. More poems are written about the moon than on any star, including the sun. Therefore, to complete or conclude this grammar side of it, the moon is one of the many luminous beings, that is the Nirdharana Shashti. The moon is not one of the 27 nakshatras, but he is their husband, stands apart, but he has a sambandha, he has a relation with the 27 nakshatras. As you noted already, the very meaning of nakshatra changes when we apply these two separate or different interpretations. Needless to say, this Vibhuti Yoga not only describes the glories of Bhagavan Vishnu, but also the shlokas are glorious in their poetry also. Then we also read quickly in the last class the 22nd verse. And the 22nd verse goes, let me read it once more here in this class. Vedanam Samavedosmi Devanamasmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhutanamasmi Chetana. Four glories are given here. Vedanam Samavedosmi. We revere and highly respect all the four Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. But Sri Krishna says here, see me, Arjuna, in Samaveda above all. Why? Samaveda is said to be very melodious, very musical. Samaveda is more enchanting than the other three Vedas. So, from that angle of view, all the glories are from certain specific angles of view. Otherwise, God is in everything, God is everything. Vedanam Samavedos Devanamasmi Vasavaha. I am Vasava. Vasava is another name of Indra. Indra has many names. Sahasrakshaha, such names also he has. So, Vasavaha, Indraha. So, these Devatas, here Deva means the Devatas. And as you and I know, Indra is the king of Swargaloka. Swargaloka is the world of Devas. Devatas live in Swarga, and Indra is the king, and he is most merited. He has most wonderful position. He is celebrated, highly adored by all. Devanam asmi vasava. Indriyana manaschasmi. Generally, we talk of five jnanendriyas and five karmendriyas. But we know very well, and Bhagavad Gita itself says in the 15th chapter, Manashashtan Indriyani, having Manaha as the sixth, the five Jnanendriyas are called totally six. It's like Pandavas are five, but those who know Mahabharata well know that actually Karna was born before even Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva. So they are six. How many are Pandavas? If you say five, very right. If you say six, not wrong. Like that, Jnanendriyas are six, and including five Karmendriyas, there are 11. Of the 11 Indriyas, I am Manaha. Obviously, Manaha is subtler, more sukshma, more expansive. Pujya Swami Chinmayananji always explained Sukshmatva being subtle in terms of being more expansive. Ice is located at a place, melt it, becomes water and spreads. And if water also boils to become steam, it spreads even greater area. Burn incense in a corner of the room, very soon the fragrance spreads. The fragrance is considered subtler. So, Manaha is much more subtle than the Indriyas, which themselves are very sophisticated. And last in this shloka is Bhutanamasmi Chetana. Adi Shankaracharya, we'll see his commentary in a minute, specifically says Chetana here is not pure consciousness, but it is the reflected consciousness. Not only reflected, it is in the form of specific knowledge. When consciousness reflects in our senses, in our thoughts actually, mana and buddhi, then we have specific knowledge. This is a pot, this is a cloth. I am gataha, I am pataha. This knowledge comes to us. Therefore, bhutanam asmi chetana. So let's see the words in his prasanna gambhira language. Shankaracharya says, Vedanam madhye samavedaha asmi. Na vivaranam, there is no vivarana. I am saying that, no explanation. But we said it's because of the musical nature. Devanam Rudra Adityadinam. So the Ekadasha Rudras and the Dvadasha Adityas are all part of the huge number of devatas. Of them, I am Indraha. Vasavaha Indraha Asmi. Indriyanam. Shankaracharya right away says, Ekadashana. Oh, it ran away. My book ran to another. Not too bad. Just give me a moment to turn back to the page.
Searching Zoom, it is on. Zoom is on.
Yes, I know. Let my readers hear that I am king of the. No, don't need that. In my book, I have made some marks, some remarks. Thank you for bearing with this little delay. Shankaracharya says right away, Indriyana means Ekadashana. Of the 11, Ekadasha, Dasha is 10, Eka is 1, 10 plus 1. Ekadashana. Of the 11 Indriyas, Manaha Asmi. And what do we call Manaha? Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha. Sometimes we connect Manaha with emotions. Rightly so, for Sankalpa and Vikalpa is also pretty much is an emotional issue. Doubt and the anxiety and the oscillations of the mind. Sankalpa is for a moment we say, it is so. Vikalpa is next moment we wonder, it is really so or is it something else? So the vacillating, oscillating mind, Manaha Asmi. I have already said, Manaha is far subtler than the other 10 Indriyas, organs of action and organs of perception. The last part of the shloka is Bhutanamasmi Chetana. Karyakarana Sanghate Nitya Abhivyakta Buddhivrittihi. So, Karya is the physical body, Karana is the subtler Indriyas, mind, and so on. Nitya Abhivyakta, operating through the entire personality, is our intellect, is such thoughts in us which are constantly recognizing. Let's say the body feels it is hot, the buddhi recognizes, oh, it's hot today. Another time the buddhi understands, oh, it's a little cold today. So, buddhi vritti, therefore we said, it is certain specific forms of knowledge. And Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, see me in all these recognitions, cognitions of buddhi, because I am the pure consciousness reflected, therefore the word chetana, in the buddhi. Buddhi vritti itself is me, is my glory. Chetanam. So to read out a particular tippani, it says samanya jnanam. That is, no matter what the thoughts are, samanya means common. Common to all of them, there is this attribute of recognizing this is cold, this is hot, this is rough, this is smooth, this is high, this is low. So there is a recognition of what something is. And you and I underestimate it. We are so blessed with constant intelligence. all our waking and dream state moments, the buddhi is operating in deep sleep, of course. Buddhi is off, but Chetana is not off. It doesn't express itself in any specific form. Thus, we go to now the 23rd verse. We see Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikarinamaham. It is said that there are 11 Rudras, Ekadasha Rudra, and one of them is Shankara. Here also there is an interesting dimension. Let me first read out who are the 11 Rudras. Again, it is from various Puranas and other scriptures. Just to read out once for your hearing pleasure. Ajaikapat, Ahirbudnya, Pinaki, Aparajita. 4 are over. Rita, Pitrarupa, Trambaka, Vrishakapi. 8. Shambhu, Havana, Ishvara. Yeah. 11 are mentioned. There must be some technical part here. But what I want to remark is the word Shankara is not in this. Oh, it's 11, perfectly 11. The 4 plus 4 plus 3, 11. So, Shankara word is not there. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi, it is said. Therefore, the Tippanakara rightly says, Rudranam Shankaraschasmi. Kapat, Ahirbudnya, Pinaki, Aparajita, Rita, Pitrarupa, Trambaka, Vishakapi, Shambhu, Havana, Ishvara. The Tippanakar himself has not said, but I would comment that Shambhu and Shankara have the same meaning. Sham bhavayati iti Shambhu, Sham karoti iti Shankara. One who brings peace, one who causes calmness. Sham means Shanti. Therefore, one meaning of this is, of the 11 Rudras, I am Shankara, who is no different from Shambhu. Another is, though the word Shankara itself doesn't appear, in all these 11, there is a certain dimension of blessing devotees with peace. I am that peace-giving quality in all the 11 Rudras. Could also be the second meaning. So we find here sometimes the word itself might not be found when there are Ekadasha Rudras or Dwadasha Adityas or 49 Vasus, not Vasu, what you call that? Maruts and Ashta Vasus and so on. Then either the word given in the Gita matches with one of the words which have similar meaning, or it could apply to all the members of that category in terms of a certain major desirable quality. So the shloka says, Rudranam Shankaraschasmi. Shankara, of course, is more known to us than many of the other words, other names. Then Yaksha Rakshasam. Yakshas and Rakshas. Raksha is same as Rakshasa. Rakshasa is Rakshasaha and plural is Rakshasa. Rakshas is, if it's one demon, it is Rakshaha, and if it's many, it is Rakshansi. So this is a little grammar. Of Yakshas and of Rakshasas, I am Vittesha. Who is Vittesha? Kubera. Kubera. Everybody is after Kubera finally, even amidst all spirituality. This morning I woke up and read J. Krishnamurti's statement. this J. Krishnamurti became very unpopular. He is not a guru of the masses because of many reasons, I guess. But one reason is he is somebody who calls a spade a spade. He is one who calls a spade a spade. That means he's so straightforward. In the statement I read, and I myself said, wow, how nicely, how strongly, how powerfully Krishnamurti puts it. He says humanity is constantly looking for status, constantly looking for power, constantly looking for being somebody in the society. And even in spirituality, humanity is looking for status only, he says. Nobody wants to hear such things. Therefore, even many ashrams keep Krishnamurti's books away because he is like red rag to the bull. But sannyasis with certain vairagya see, oh, this man is speaking the truth. Because go to any spiritual organization, starting with the rich ones like the Roman Catholic Church in Rome, in Vatican, and any other religions. It is so sad. That's why Krishnamurti kept away from religions. He criticized. We are all into religion, but we would do well to know the limitations of religion and save ourselves from the vulgarities to which religions go. Everywhere it is so much of God. The Semitic religions shamelessly go on converting. They want more numbers. A bishop doesn't want to just be about 1,000 or 2,000 members, 10,000, 100,000, 200,000 people are under him. He feels better. They want to convert. They openly declare. Once the Pope came to India, sorry to say this, some years ago, not the present Pope, the previous Pope. In his speech, standing on the soil of India, he said, in the last century, we became the number one religion in Africa. In this century, our goal is to become the number one religion in Asia. And he rolled out his plan to convert maximum Indians into Christianity. So Krishnamurti scoffed at them. What is this? Is this religiosity? Is true religiosity anything to do with the numbers? Or is it about inner transformation? But then, it's not Christianity alone, it's not Islam alone. In all organized religions, in all missions, in all spiritual organizations, there is a certain explicit or hidden ways of showing we are better than the other organization or something. So I digressed a little bit, but it came from Vitteshaha. Knowingly or unknowingly, all of us are after money. It's better we introspect, better we inquire more deeply and make money a non-issue. As long as money, Kubera's domain, as money becomes the major issue, primary issue, money is the force that pulls us. How can we ever dream of liberation? Yaksha Rakshasam Vitteshaha. Kubera is so much sought after all over the world. Vasunam Pavakaschasmi. It will be of interest for you to know that when I read out the 8 Vasu's names, you will find that the word Pavaka is missing there. So, in a hurried reading, you may, in a hurried reading, you may wonder what is wrong here. There are these 8 names of the Vasus, and Sri Krishna says, I am Pavaka, but there is no Pavaka among the 8. So let me read out. Dhara, Dhruva, Soma, Savitra. 4. Anila, Anala, Pratyusha and Prabhasa. 4 more. Right. However, those of us who have a little knowledge of Sanskrit easily see that the 6th name or the 6th among the 8 Vasus is Anala. Anala is a synonym of Pavaka. Anala means fire. Because fire, more oil you put, it seems to ask for more. It never says alam. Na alam vidyate yasya sa analaha. It never says enough, enough, don't put more. On the contrary, it asks for more oil. The flames rise higher. Moment you put a little more oil, the flame burns brightly, saying, yes, that's what I want. Give me some more. Na alam vidyate yasya sa analaha. That is Pavaka. So Vasunam Pavakaschasmi. Sometimes one of the names may have another name too, or another version. The 4th name among these 8 I read out to quickly mention is Savitra, and Tippanakara SSS says Savitra is some places called Aha. Aha is another name. Anyway, Vasu, one more category. All these have interesting parallels in the human society that you and I are part of. In human society worldwide, there are so many categories. Countries are classified. Human beings are classified. Westerners and Easterners, Africans and Japanese people. And much is said about each category. These people are like this. Those people are like that. These people are rich. Those people are poor. Even in India, we talk about, I not mention specific communities, but sometimes, that community, business is in their blood. They are so good in doing business. And this community, they are not good in vyavahara. They're not practical people, but they have great mastery on scriptures or shastras, wonderful memory power, but they are buddhus. Buddhus means dull-witted otherwise, and jokes are cracked about some community. So you have categories, and I mention this because it may help us appreciate these devatas better. Otherwise, we may look at these classifications as irrelevant. Oh, why do we have to study all this? Just understand, just as human beings have so many varieties, so many kinds, with plus and minus points. The devatas also. Some are yaksha, some are rakshas, some are gandharvas, and there are many kinds of devas. Ajana Jana Deva, some kind of deva is mentioned in Taittiriya Upanishad. Karma Deva, and then just Deva, Pitru Deva, so many. So Vibhuti Yoga makes its contribution to this classification. Vasunam Pavakaschasmi, and then Meruhu Shikarinamaho. Of all the mountains with the Shikara, with a certain pointed peak, Meru Parvata is most glorious. Meru Parvata is mentioned in many scriptures, having a golden glow, and everything rotates around it, and it is worshipped by even devatas. Therefore, the famous Meru mountain, I am among all the mountains or mountain peaks, says Sri Krishna. With this, we go quickly to this. Not much said by Adi Shankara. Rudranam ekadashanam Shankaraha asmi Vittesha Kuberaha. Kubera is mentioned as the synonym. Yaksha Rakshasam. Yakshanancha Rakshasancha. There are 2 categories actually. Both categories put together. Kubera is mentioned. I suppose he is a Yaksha. He may not be Rakshas. Some are great ones, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, even Prahlada, such a great devotee, such a divine being, but he was born in the community of Asuras or Asurakul. He is an Asura Raja, but very divine. Among human beings also, sometimes somebody is born in a Brahmin family but into all bad habits. Rama Rama, you pity him. Then somebody else is born into a business family where business runs in their blood, but she or he is so pious. So all this happens. The categories are not to be taken as sweepingly applicable to every member. In the community of Asuras, I already mentioned Ravana was born, but one of his younger brothers, Vibhishana, though born to Asura Kula, was so divine, like a deva he was. Somebody joked the other day, in fact, not joked, one Swami who was from a Brahmin background was a bit emotional when he complimented some kind of Nayar or somebody who was regularly attending his lectures. In front of all, the Swami in Lucknow complimented this Nayar member. Very humbly, the Swami showed his own humility. He said, Mr. Nayar, I have been watching you for 7 years. You are so full of divine qualities. I am born in Brahmin family, became a Swami, but I am not as good as you are. That person felt very embarrassed, but the Swami gave a compliment. If both of us have next life, I will be born in Nair community and you will be born in Brahmin community, he said. This is all, it is not to further strengthen caste divisions, but there is a lot of psychology and lot of, the science of its soul, how our antakarana gets shaped. And we must just see the meaning as applicable to the evolution of the inner jivatma. So, not to make an issue of particular caste, but from the evolution point of view, yes, irrespective of your background, if you live a pious life, you will rise higher and higher. And irrespective of your generally enviable background, if you live a morally compromised life, you will devolve, go down, and not evolve. Therefore, just because you happen to be from a king's family or a priest's family or this family, you should never take things for granted. Tasma Jagrata Jagrata. Be careful. Being in Asura family, Vibhishana got so close to Rama. And being in some Brahminical family, there are many wretched people who straight go to hell after their death. There are examples in the Puranas. I cannot remember any particular one, but there are often in the Bhagavatam and others, there are often examples of someone whose father, grandfather, great grandfather were all very pious people devoted to Vedic studies. And this fellow just drinks and smokes and does all wrong things. So the parallels between the diversity in humanity and the diversity in devatas, yakshas, rakshansi, etc., is good food for thought. Therefore, religious studies from that angle of view has its own beauty, its own charm. Therefore, Shastra Vasana is very strong in a lot of people. These people leave everything and immerse themselves in Shastras. I'll not mention his name. There was one very good Swamiji in our circles, and he quit everything and went to Himalayas, and he's totally into Shastra Adhyayana and Shastra Adhyapana. And other day somebody asked him, why are you doing this? Again, I will not mention the name of the organization, but that Swami smilingly said, it seems, yes, yes, I was in that organization which is so worldwide known and doing a lot of good work, etc. And I was pretty senior there too. And I could have continued traveling around the world and addressing audiences in hallowed halls and so on. But I decided to come away to Himalayas. He said, but why? The devotees asked, why did you do it? The next line is, when I heard it just a week ago, I heard it because somebody went and, yeah, not even week, 5 days ago, somebody went and met him recently and then asked, why did you leave such a wonderful, wonderful, great worldwide spiritual organization where you would have been so high in the hierarchy? He said, really speaking, if I had continued in that organization, I would have gone all over the world and collected a lot of money for the organization. A lot of fundraising I would have done. It is all good work, but my heart is not in raising funds. My heart is in studying Shastras more and more deeply, and more widely. I want to study, that's what he is doing now. He not only studies the Upanishads, not only the Shankara's Bhāshya, but if there is a commentary on Shankara's commentary, that also. If there is one more commentary on Shankara's commentary on the Upanishad, he would like to study that also. So the world is very interesting. Shastra Vasana. But I would say hats off to him, for it is so true. Sometimes money and power and status and glory and glitter and glamour and being talked well of, being praised in some elite circles, etc., gives us some pleasure. But that pleasure is nowhere compared with Shastra Ananda. Just to be with good thoughts, noble thoughts, and live a pious life. Just don't be a Pandit. Pandit means a scholar. Panditya and Charitra should go together. Ensure that your life is free of negativities. Your life is free of pride and tendencies to hurt people, etc. Be pious, be loving, be kind, be disciplined. Work towards it. Nobody is perfect. That is Charitra. And pursue Panditya. If your life is a blend of Panditya and Charitra, character and scholarship, you enjoy far greater happiness than living in a huge house of so much wealth, gold and silver scattered around and so on. So, all these thoughts come, I mentioned, to read these details is a very interesting engagement, very enviable, very cherishable, very adorable engagement. Therefore, Shastra Ananda. There is Vishayananda in jalebi and food and drink and music and dance. But the joy of Shastra Chintana is way higher. If you can approach that, it will be wonderful. To read one more verse now, just read and we will leave it at that. पुरोधसाञ्च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिं सेनानीनाम् अहं स्कन्दः सरसाम् अस्मि सागरः. So we have three more here. I am Brihaspati among priests, being the priest of Indra himself. I am Skanda, Kartikeya, Subramanya, Muruga among commanders of armies, and I am the ocean among huge water bodies. Ocean nobody creates. Shankara writes there. Ocean is made by gods, not by any human beings. But so many lakes are man-made. So Shankara says, Devata Khataha and so on. Deva Khata. Khata is digging. Deva Khata is Sagar. So 24th we will see. Next Wednesday in India, Tuesday evening in the West. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.